Hey, this is JC and welcome to Small Brick City, where we want to help you build a Lego city regardless of the space you have. In this video, we are going to explore how to incorporate a set of stairs into a Lego building or MOC. I know a lot of people have trouble figuring out how to incorporate the stairs into the wall, how to position them, and how to get the right height. So basically in this video, we're going to explore all these different techniques, and hopefully I can give you some tips and insight on how you can do this easily and without any stress. If you're watching this video and have yet to subscribe to the channel, please do. Just click on the icon on the lower right side of your screen and I'll really be grateful. Thanks in advance. Let's get started. What I've done here is to create this right angle wall, and this will represent different heights of a wall for a building. So do not see this as one building. I'm just using these sections to be representative of different sections of a building, depending on the height of what you're building and how you want to incorporate the stairs in. So let's just start with the complete basics or the very start, and that is to incorporate one set of stairs into a wall, and we'll talk about a short wall first. So what you want to get is one of these standard Lego steps or stairs. It's one pre-molded or fabricated piece like this. Now what I suggest whenever you use one of these stairs, to always place a 1x2 plate underneath or a 2x2 plate, but I'll generally use a 1x2 plate, and I'll use gray just so that you can see the contrast and the difference. And there's a practical reason for this. If you set your stairs onto a base plate like this for your room or your building, and you want to add tiles, you do need to raise it up by one plate high, and that's why you put that 1x2 plate. If you do not have that plate, due to that slant or the angle of the stairs, you will not be able to put a plate directly next to the slanted area. Therefore, you need to raise it up by 1x2 or raise it up by one plate using this 1x2 plate. And that is important if you do want to finish off your buildings with tiling. And as I do recommend, always trying to finish exposed surfaces with studs with tiles, just to give it a more complete look. If you can, then I would suggest just getting in the habit of doing this. Even if you do not intend to finish your ground at this point, I do suggest you just make this a habit so that in the future, when you do want to tile your interiors, then you do not need to worry about rebuilding everything. So just create that habit of adding that extra 1x2 plate underneath the stairs. So once you've got that down, you need to figure out how high you need to put the stairs. So what I've done is I've built this 6 bricks high as well as 2 plates. Generally when I build modulars, I always lay 1x something plates to mark out the layout or the footprint of the building. And then after you build the bricks and the windows or whatever you might have for the walls, you'd cap off the top with a 1x something plate like this. And subsequently, if you're building a modular building, that means the levels can be detached or removed from each lower floor. You then need to cover this with tiles and a jumper plate or a stud so that you can easily remove the second floor or the subsequent floor. As such, this would be the standard height or the lowest height of any building that I might have, because this is where you can incorporate a door in as well. If you're to do this, it's a very simple matter of, and that's almost perfect already. As you can see, you would just get the right height by adding in that 1x2 plate to match this height. So if you're going for the minimum for a wall, if you're wondering what's the minimum height for a wall, if you want to incorporate a staircase in, you would need 2 plates and 6 bricks, and you get the perfect height. However, notice when you build something like that, the issue with building this like that is you're basically going to walk into a wall, or the minifigure will walk into a wall. So you want to create a landing. In this case, what I suggest is to remove the stairs first, and when you come to a section of the wall, for example this one over here, you would remove that section, replace this plate, and you use a 2x3 plate and integrate it with the wall so that this can be built on like that. So what you're doing is you're creating a landing. So this 2x3 plate, or at least this section here, will replace the 1x something plate that you used to layer over the bricks or the side wall. So this 2x3 plate will be the base of your landing. Then you need to fill it up a bit. So you take another 1x2 plate, let's say this over here. And then you can take a 2x4 plate and put it over here. What this does is creates a landing, because typically when you build stairs, you would have a stairwell, which is basically a hole in the upper floor, so that minifigs can climb up, come up to this landing, they'll turn to one side and go on to the next floor. And that basically allows you to create a landing so that you do not have steps directly into the wall. So that's one simple technique. Now let's say you now have a taller wall. For whatever reason, you want to build something higher and you have something like that. So you have to take your stairs and you have to kind of measure once again how high you need to go. So in the case like this, you can see that obviously this section of the wall is higher than the height of the stairs. So that means you need to add to the stairs, and I'm going to show you two simple ways you can do that. And one way is to just use a 2x2 brick like this with a 1x4 plate, and that goes on like this, and that becomes another block of these stairs, and you can put that in and see what the height is. Now when I put this on, you can see it's left with a gap because that's necessary for the plate. Therefore I would use an extra plate, in this case this 2x2 brick with a 2x2 plate, and I'm using gray so that you can see the contrast, and you can put that in and that works well. Now I should mention that I don't have this 1x2 plate here, and that's because of the height. If I really wanted to do this right, and this is important for your consideration when you intend to put stairs, you have to consider this when you're building the height up for your side walls. Remember I said you should always put a 1x2 plate underneath, and that is so that when you add a block over here, the step or this extra step, because this is just a 1x4 plate that you put on to match the rest of the stairs here. If you do not put this 1x2 plate here, this step or the height of this step will be lower than the rest. So if you want symmetry, you have to put that 1x2 plate here. But for this particular step that I did, which is basically, or this side wall, it's 7 bricks and 2 plates. However, if I were to do this setup, you'll notice that I'm 1 plate too high. So I have two choices. One is to add another layer of plate over here, which is what I would recommend, or you would have to remove this particular plate here, a 1x2 plate. Now, if raising a side wall by 1 plate is going to screw up all your plans and make it really difficult, then I would say, well, I would suggest just do that. Then just remove that, and you can get a shorter step. However, there is another alternative. Instead of using this brick over here, you can use 2 plates instead. So you lower the step, and that actually I think even works better. So the basic idea, or really what I'm trying to show, is you always have to think about the height of your steps in relation to the height of the side walls that you're building, and you have to make some compromise somewhere, or you would have to either reduce the height of a brick using plates here, or add to the height of the side walls if you want to match them up nicely. Now, instead of this 2x2 brick, you can also use this reverse brick over here, and the reason why this is nice is because it adds to the slanted design of the stairs. So if you had to add a couple of them, that will look pretty nice, because it just looks nicer if you do not want to use the square brick. So that's an alternative you can do. And once again, if you're building something like this, the same rule would apply. You do not want to build it directly into the wall, because then minifigs will just step into the wall. You'd apply the same technique I mentioned earlier, and that is using the 2x3 brick to replace the 2 studs of this 1 by something layer here, and then you build a little landing so that minifigs can walk up. So that's basically how you would build one set of stairs into a Lego building or wall. Now let's talk about what if you have a really high wall and you need stairs to go up all the way. You could do the extension of using bricks or inverted bricks to add on to increase the length of the stairs, but that could become quite unstable if you use too many. It's great for maybe 2 or 3, but any more might be a bit unstable. So one thing you can do is use 2 sets of stairs like this. And it's a simple matter of connecting, but remember I talked about that 1x2 additional plate. So you add in that 1x2 additional plate once again. That's just to make sure that the height of each step is equal, and then you would be able to put it in just like that in the same way. Now the same idea of adding a 1x2 plate underneath here would apply, and you'd do the same thing. And I'll just transfer this over here to do that. So what I have here is the 1x2 plates underneath each set of stairs. You can see that in light gray, and that would pop on like that. And in this case, yep, that is just perfect, and we would have a really large flight of stairs going up. Now this obviously is a solution, but I'm sure you can see the issue from a practical standpoint if you're detailing the inside of a Lego building. Now Lego buildings aren't really big, and this I'm building already on a 16x16 stud base plate. And this set of stairs already takes up a lot of room, especially the way it comes down. You can hardly build anything around it, and minifigs will be knocking their heads. So unless you have space and you really want to build a long flight of stairs like that, because maybe if you're building a large building like a hotel or a government building and you want a large flight of stairs up to the second floor, that might be really impressive. If not, you may want to take an alternate approach, and that is to do a 90-degree turn. And that would mean something like that. Building this up here, and for this to come up like that. So something like that. You basically want to achieve this kind of idea because it takes up less space. In this case, what you need is a plate like this, which is a 4x4 plate. You'd remove the 1x2 plate, which was used to raise it up to the same height, and you put it in like that. This will allow you to create a landing, and therefore you can put this like that, and you would create the right height once again. Just pop that in. You create the right height, but you've now created this 90-degree turn. Okay, what you need to take note of is when you do this, of course, once you place this plate on, you need to build this up tight and strong. So for example, one thing you need to do is take plates, put it on both sides, for example, like that. So that becomes a bit more of a secure fit. And then you'd probably want to add even more plate. Now I'll use a light gray just so that you can see the contrast. And then maybe cover everything with a 2x4. And then you can fill in this rest as well if you want it nice and neat. But the idea is you want to make sure that this connection is really secure, so that when you put this here, nothing will fall in or fall down or break apart. So that looks like that. One thing I'd suggest as well, if you can, is to build this plate into the wall. So if you get the height right, and I don't have it here, you can relook at the side wall and see how you can build it. For example, in this case, if I just do it quickly, I would remove this brick, and I'll have to just add plates to create the right height. So just to give you an example of how I raise up the height, let's just do that. So I have now raised it by 2 plates because of the height that is needed here, and this allows me to put this into the wall. I will move this slightly here to the side so it doesn't eat into the wall, so to speak. And then I'll just have to level this up here. And now you can see everything is level once again, and I could carry on just bricking as usual with the bricks. So what I've done is I've built the landing into the wall, and this is definitely really secure. You really don't have to worry about anything coming apart. And once again, you have this stairs with the 90-degree turn. Now this is still not the best saving space option, but I'm just showing you the idea behind the build and how to create that 90-degree turn. Now if you wanted to create that 90-degree turn, I would suggest building it against the wall like that. So you'd build it against 2 walls. So It'll really be something like that, and maybe this would be all the way here. And I think you get the idea. So with this, you have at least this part all open space, and there's still space to be used underneath here, and it looks more realistic. And if you think about normal homes, a lot of the staircases would go up this way, something like that. Of course, when you come to here, you can see there is an obvious issue, and that is there is no support. So what you can do is, of course, to build out, and you would use a combination of plates like this to build out, or you could use inverted bricks like this. Now this is a 2x2 brick. You might want to use something longer so that it can reach out all the way and it can act as a support for the stairs. Or you could also use inverted bricks along the stairs over here, so you build them into your wall and support the stairs over here, or the end of these steps over here, so this won't just be floating like that, and later on you can just build out this way. So the idea I'm trying to share is, when you build these stairs like this, always think about the support and the connection, and you will have to play around. There's no one way to do this, there's no right formula, because it really depends on the wall you're building, the height, and the different techniques, whether you're using all bricks or a combination of bricks and plates. But like I showed over here, you can remove a layer of bricks to replace them with plates to create the connection that you need. Now let's just move back a bit over here. When you build these stairs, for example, if you had to build something like that, maybe your design calls for it to be built like this. So you're building the steps like that. Now when you create a landing like this and it's open, you might want to use a railing part like this. This is a standard 1x4 part, and you can pop it in just like that, and that acts as a nice railing so minifigs don't fall over and die, and it just looks a bit more complete. If you do not have this railing part, you can use the telescope part, or you can even use round bricks to create this kind of effect with a plate on top or a 1x4 tile on top, and that acts as a railing as well. Here's another idea. If you want to build a set of steps to reach a higher level, but you only have one set of steps. In this case, you could build these steps to go all the way here. Maybe you create a short landing if you want, and then you could use a ladder piece connected, or in this case, because this is a longer ladder and it has clips at the end, you clip it to a modified plate with open-ended brackets like that, and that could connect something like that. And you could have a situation where you have stairs that leads up a ladder. This saves space and is still a logical solution for access. If your wall is not that high, maybe use a shorter ladder like this, but in this case there are no clips, so use a modified plate with clips, and this likewise would go on, and of course you have to imagine it goes to the suitable height. If you feel this is a bit tight, you could do the same thing as before and create a landing as I showed earlier. You can build that into the wall if you like as well, so that you have a landing that leads up to the ladder. But that's just another solution in case you have only one set of steps, but you do have these ladder pieces. So let's say you need to build a set of steps or stairs, but you do not have any of these prefabricated parts, and you do not want to order it because it's just a bit too troublesome and you really need to do a build. Then you can think of different ways to build your stairs. And here's an example using just 2x2 bricks, and you can recreate stairs just by using this technique. It's not as pretty, but there are ways to make it look good, especially if you use the right colors for your build. So if I do something like that to get up to these stairs, I can use the 2x2 bricks to create that staggered stairs, and this will be a support, and I'll use a 1x2 to fill in the area here. And because this can be potentially quite unstable, so what I suggest is to use a 1x something long plate, or 2x something long plate. In the case I've got a 2x8 here, and just put this together, and at least that holds it pretty well together. And then to give it a more designed look, you can use these 1x4 plates and add them on just so that you replicate the look of the stairs. And if you want, you can even add tiles on top of these plates, or you can replace the plates with tiles so that you get very nice cleaned finished look. but I'm sure you can see what I'm getting here. Okay, see, that's the problem with these stairs. They have the potential ability to just crumble down, but if you do not have the right parts, you can do this. You can use transparent bricks if you like to fill this area so it's really solid, but I think that's just because I was applying pressure at the wrong points. But if you were to just build this to look like stairs, it should be fine. And when you come to the top here, I would use a combination of this 2x4 to hold the overlap of the joints, and I'll put this here like that. And now I have a set of stairs which looks respectable, and I can design it to fit the look of my house or the color scheme. And you still have storage area here. So what you could possibly do, you could take the cabinet piece to fill in the space here, or you could put modified bricks with studs on the side and then put jumper plates on so they look like drawers and cabinets. Or let me show you what I mean in case you don't really understand what I'm talking about. Now, if I really wanted to make this set of stairs very secure and solid, as well as to put in some drawer space or storage space for a home, let's say, I'll need a couple of these modified bricks with studs on the side and some 1x2 bricks. And let me show you what I mean. You also need some jumper plates, such as these over here. So this is what I'll do. I'll fill in the space over here with these modified bricks. And let's just speed up the process when I do this. Okay, so what I've done is to put modified bricks all the way here. I put a 1x2 brick here. This is going to just fill in the space and act as support. Just imagine this is a regular brick, so that's just to fill up the space. But what I've done now is to create a support structure so that I can build all this on top, so that's really solid. But I now can take jumper plates like this, and if I put them on, I can create the illusion that these look like drawers built into the staircase. And I know there are a lot of storage designs for cupboards and stuff where you actually can put storage like that, and maybe this should be white, but that's just to give you an idea of how you can utilize the space but still make something solid like that, and that can fit in as your stairs. Here's one final idea for this video. If you don't have stairs and you want to have a ladder because you don't have space and you just want some access to go up, but you do not have this ladder piece as well, you can build your own ladder, and you can just use a couple of bricks like that. So use 1x1 bricks and 1x4 plates, and you probably can see where I'm going to go and just do that. And that's the base rung, as you can see. And you're creating a ladder using just 1x1 bricks and plates, just like that. And let's continue it up to complete this ladder. Okay, let's just stop here for now. And I've built a ladder up to this height. So let's say we go up here. And what I would suggest, if you're building this against a wall like this, okay, what I would suggest, you build the landing or the top of the ladder into the wall. So as you can see, this, if I were to put it next to each other, this height would actually work. If I take this out and I put a 2x4 plate like that. Now, of course, my rest of my wall would be built this way, as you can see. But now I have a ladder which is really stable. For the sake of completeness, you can also do this and put 1x1 tiles on top to cover these studs. And now you actually have a ladder which goes up. And if you do not want to use this as ladder, this also works as a shelf system against a wall. So a 2-in-1. I hope you enjoyed this video and you've gotten some insight on the techniques and tricks that you can use to integrate stairs, steps, and ladders into your building MOC. If you've got any questions, please leave them in the comments. And if you've got a different technique that's really effective to create stairs, please let me know as well. We'll all like to learn from you. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. And remember, if you haven't, please subscribe to the channel and turn on that notification bell. Do check out these two videos before you go.